Hi everybody. I had originally decided that I was going to do most of my Electricraft work setup off camera because I figured it was mostly a bunch of math. But apparently my math was wrong, and I think that the information in the Electricraft handbook might be a bit out of date. I had the impression from these instructions that if you didn't actually make any changes to a transformer settings, that is to say leave it at a ratio of 1:1, that it wouldn't generate heat. And I also thought that 496 amps would be the point at which it would fail. And both of those seem to be incorrect. I've done a bunch of experimenting in Creative after I blew up a battery with 32 diamonds in it. And I've learned a bit, but I think I've got a bit more to learn. So once I do that, I will be making an Electricraft episode. For the short term, I'm not sure. I'd like to break some bedrock. And the only thing I'm missing for the bedrock breaker is tungsten, which I get as a byproduct from extracting iron ore. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next little while. Okay, I've been doing some math. After I added another wheel to this hydrokinetic engine row, I'm pretty sure this setup can handle at least 4 times the speed and torque that I've got here. But in order to get this thing to run all the way through without having to go back and forth with the speed and torque settings on this 2-to-1 gearbox, all I need to do is double my power. As long as my math is right, of course. So I decided to cook up a bunch of spring steel, and I'm going to make another 4 hydrokinetic engines. String it up here, set up the water supply going all the way up 64 meters, and hope I'm right. Alright, 8 hydrokinetic engines linked together, which should produce 4 megawatts of power, held back only by the wool in front of these sticky pistons. And if it works, we'll be able to do this extraction all the way through without switching this back and forth, and everything should go pretty quickly. And if it doesn't work, then something's gonna break. Let's see which. Okay, something's not right here, but I'm not sure what. but I'm certainly not getting the torque I expected, and my frame rate has gone to bad places. I was hoping 8 hydrokinetic engines would all link together. Or maybe it's just got a problem because I connected these 4 last. Let's see if I can't break these 4 off and then put them back. And well, where did that piston go? And this water Alright, let's re-emplace these engines. And they are all loading up on the lubricant. So let's try it again. Everybody be friends. Come on. Okay. Whatever's going on, it's breaking my piston. And I'm sure that's not supposed to happen. Okay, so if I want to hook more than 4 engines together, I have to upgrade it with bedrock shaft units. Now, that doesn't mean I can't do this. It just means I'm going to have to reposition things. And I'm going to have to use some bevel gears. And I'm going to have to use some shaft junctions. And I'm going to have to make them out of diamond. So yeah, divide this into 2. Have them coming together from opposite directions and join together with a diamond shaft junction. All this sticking off in a right angle to where it is now. This is a lot of work just to save me from hitting this thing with a screwdriver. This sounds as if it may be a source of concern. Shaft junctions can merge at most 4 times the average of the input power. Exceeding that load will cause them to break. Basically, you can't combine the input of too many engines. So the question is, does this count as 2 inputs or as 8 engines? We're going to find out. I managed to get away with just moving 2 motors over. And part of the reason I did that, aside from it being easier, is I didn't want to waste all of the lubricant that is in here. There's no way to get the lubricant back out again. So that's an important consideration when you're placing these engines. I'm starting to run low. I'm going to have to make some more lubricant soon. But first, I want to see if this thing works. So, we've got our 16-to-1 gear. We've got our 8-to-1 gear. And our 2-to-1 gear. We have got a beveled gear, which will be receiving power from the south and outputting power upwards. And we have the extractor. Now we'll want to feed this some water. And these are all well and truly lubed. Oh, and just because I like to know what's going on, I'm also going to put some dynamometers in this chain. Alright, our extractor has water. And it now has the ores we were working on earlier. We have all of our gearboxes set for speed. And we have 2 sets of 4 hydrokinetic engines set to combine. And I really hope this works, because this is my plan A for running a bedrock breaker once I finish testing this. Of course, that means I'll also be making 8 more hydrokinetic engines, but at least I'll know how to set them up then. So pretty much all that's left is flipping this switch, which releases these pistons, which lets the water flow to the engines. And I think I'm putting it off both for suspense and because I'm kind of afraid to turn it on. I think I'll move this lever over here. That way I can see what goes on if all of this breaks. Alright, it's time to let loose the juice and see what shakes loose. Yeah, something broke. I wonder if I can slip some diamond gears in there to upgrade its strength. Alright, the Electricraft handbook seems to indicate that you can upgrade these gears with the 2x bedrock gear unit. So I'm hoping that you can do the same with diamond. Alright, those are the directions we want the power to come in. And not as if there's a damage reading on this. Alright, so sad to say, it appears that I do not have a way to combine these engines yet. So, that means, among other things, I'm not going to be able to use hydrokinetic engines to break bedrock. Which means I'm going to need a bigger engine. So I'll be building a turbine between episodes. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to be grinding some more seed oil and making more jet fuel. And next episode, hopefully I should open with breaking bedrock. And with any luck, I hope to move on to some other exploring. So be sure to tune in for that. And if you liked this episode, be sure to click like, and if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. See you next episode. Until then, have some fun, build something cool, and have a nice day.